Alright, so this isn't a video I intended on making, but I am going to make it because I love having discussions with all of you, and I think this is a great spark of conversation. So I'm going to make the intro quite quick because this is probably going to be a longer video already. What's up, everybody? I'm your STATISTACS. I do a lot of retrospectives. I try to do gameplay, but lately it hasn't been happening, but I'm going to be getting back to it. I just got to finish up my class that I'm in, and then after this weekend, when that's done, I will be back to doing a lot of gameplay stuff, hopefully. So I do gameplay, retrospectives, discussion videos like this, and yeah, so if you enjoy the content, like, comment, sub, all that stuff, definitely let me know your thoughts down below. I leave my Twitter and Instagram linked down below. Definitely go give those a follow and stay up to date with the channel. Talk to me over there, all that good stuff. And let's just get right into it.
One thing I'll fight is kind of what went wrong. There's clearly quality and execution things that we can do.
All right, so quality execution, things we can do, right? That right there, to me, it's like he was gonna say something and I feel like he drifted away from it. But to me, it's like, yeah, there are quality and execution and things you can do, clearly. I mean, Redfall got through. And to me, it's like, how did that get through? But it made me happy to hear him start saying that. I kind of wish he would have continued with it, to be honest. What he went into afterwards, which I'll play in a second, was also good, but I wish he would have kept with it because I would have liked to hear him say, yes, these are things that need to be changed, the processes need to be more thorough, something, because I definitely think that's what it is. The processes just need to be more thorough. I don't think there's anything else really to say about it. I just think whatever their process is now clearly isn't good enough. They've had numerous releases now where the game just releases in a state of bad performance, bugs, and all things of that nature. But let's move on to the next clip.
But one thing I won't do is push against creative aspirations of our teams. Then a lot of people will say, hey, you've got teams know how to do one kind of game, just force them to go do the one kind of game that they have a proven track record for.
All right, so he wants to keep the creative freedom. I totally respect that. I get it. It makes sense. I mean, making a video game has a lot of art involved in it, and art is creativity, inspiration, things of that nature. And when you start to take that out of it, the company just probably is going to lose motivation and just inspiration and things like that, and it becomes stale. So it makes sense to keep the creativity freedom in there, but there, again, going back to what I said about the last clip, needs to be some kind of like thorough check. And to me, if he wants to keep creative freedom but put out great games, to me this means having deep dive reviews on your big AAA $70 games, and when these games are clearly not creating a premium game, you know, getting ahead to that snake that can guide the ship in the right direction for a polished, finished premium product. But if a game is going to be $70, there should be like mid-development reviews, things of this nature where games are getting put in check basically all the way through development. You know, there's checkpoints to getting review checks and making sure they're up to where they should be on some kind of creative level, because Redfall has nothing to do with this. Like, there is no creativity in Redfall. It's generic, it's bland, it's flat, there's nothing to the game, and then it's a buggy performant mess. So it's like Redfall just needs every category of what's wrong with the game to be checked on, and then right that wrong in development, in review times, because you had reviews in the middle of development. That's what should be going on, honestly, with these AAA premium games, because I don't even know how else. I mean, they've just had too many issues. But we'll be diving a little deeper into this with the next clip here from Phil.
When a game needs to be delayed, what we did with Halo, we did with Starfield, we did with Redfall, because the production timeline is saying we have this vision and our production timelines don't get us to the completion of that vision, we do delay games. We do that. Learning about the quality, there are clearly, I've seen them. I know there are bugs in Redfall that's launching. But when I look at like the crash rates on the game, because we get all the telemetry of everything that's happened, it's not out of proportion for a game that has just launched. It's kind of in the pocket of what we would expect. That's not to deny any of the animation, streaming of texture bugs, the AI bugs that we've seen. We will go work on those. But when I look at the review scores of this game, it's did we have enough of creative differentiation in our core idea, and did we realize that creative ambition? Yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
Okay, so something interesting that stuck out to me from this was he, to me, reveals part of the review process that is within Xbox, which is creative differentiation, or just like, did they achieve what the creative core of the game is? And if he's saying, because he does at some point say that their mock review or whatever in-house was like some double digits higher than reviews coming out from other places. So clearly they thought they achieved their creative vision of this game, which I that's ridiculous in itself to me, because I don't think this game has any creativity aside from the fact that it's a vampire game, and the only other vampire game I know of off the top of my head is Vampire. But even so, there's hardly any vampires. So I don't know. There's not nearly enough in the game to be fighting or entertain yourself with, and the AI is so lacking, yada yada, goes on forever. But their review process is basically looking at achieving a creative goal, which, yeah, I guess that should be part of it, because obviously that's what's going to make the game fun. So obviously they did not achieve it. The other half of what's going to make it fun is, making it not a buggy, performant mess. So obviously that should be part of the review system. I don't know what their review system is. I don't get it. Like, how did they quote unquote review this game and not see any of this and expect a higher review score? I don't understand. I really don't. I don't see what they were looking at as opposed to what we were looking at. I don't get it.
And I think we need to improve on engaging in games that are midway through production when they become part of Xbox.
Okay. Take out the when they become part of Xbox, and you're absolutely right. This is exactly what I want to hear. Just get rid of the when they become part of Xbox. I don't care about that. I agree that you need to be engaged in games that are midway through production. This is what I was just saying. And it's just true. They like I was saying, I would love to hear if they had, I'm not a developer. I don't know game development. I'm not going to claim to be knowing game development like that, but to have, like I was saying, those checkpoints midway through, parts of the way through, saying like, hey, where are you in the development? And then basically off of where they are, knowing what should be getting achieved in this point of development. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a developer, so for me to come up with the ideas for this isn't the easiest thing to do, because I don't understand it enough. But these people do, and they should know enough to be able to come up with a good review process throughout the entire thing. And I don't care if it makes the games take longer to be made. Just make the games great at launch. I don't like these, like, we're gonna fix it up and 2 years later it'll be good. Halo Infinite is 2 years later and it's just okay, in my opinion. It's still not great. It doesn't even have the normal level system. Oh god. Alright, let's move on to the next thing. Just real quick to clarify what I've been saying about review processes all the midway through, like all the way through the game development. They probably do that. I'm just saying, like, there needs to be a better way of doing it. There needs to be a more efficient way of doing it. I don't know. Like, there just needs to be a better way of doing it, because clearly whatever they're doing right now isn't working. I'm assuming they already do reviews as they go through the game. They they make a build of the game, and then they like do tests and stuff within to test whatever. It's just more of it needs to be looked at, I think, instead of just does it work. But hey, we're on the final clip, so let's just get it rolling.
But we are not in a position, and I see it out there, I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. So when you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people. Like 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, like the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time where we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world that we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. So what we have to do, and we have this unique vision because we see what creators want to do. Creators want to build games that can meet players on any screen. People play with their friends regardless of what other screen they're on. And the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There's no doubt. So like we will stay focused on making sure that console experience is awesome. But I know some people want to hold us up of just being a better green version of what the blue guys do. And I'm just going to say, like, there's not a win for Xbox in staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with Game Pass, with the stuff we do with xCloud, and the way we build our games.
So this was really interesting to me. He was essentially saying, like, hey, like, we can make great games, but we're not catching up to these platforms. And also he was talking about the fact of like this, new age digital only games. It's so interesting. Like I never even thought of it really, but it locked them from last gen to this gen into it. It's kind of like the iPhone Apple family thing where like they have their own ecosystem of all of their things, and then it's so easy to transfer everything from one to another that now you're kind of locked into that ecosystem and you don't want to leave. And he's essentially saying that's what Nintendo and PlayStation did. Like when digital games became more of a thing, people bought their libraries of games that they own now on PlayStation 4, but now they're on PlayStation 5 as well. They're moving ahead, and that's just interesting to me that I never even thought of it like that. So he's essentially saying we can make great games, but gone are the days where people just switch consoles just like that. It's not gonna happen. And I agree and disagree. Like I get what he's saying. People are locked in. People usually make their decisions based off of two things before a console comes out: games and friends. At least in my experience, that's how it was. And friends actually pretty much typically took the cake on that. I remember when the Xbox One generation was coming out with the PlayStation 4 and everything, me and my friend group, we all went separate ways. I went to PC. I was the only one that did that. I don't know. I was like, nah, I'm good getting a console every so often or whatever. I'm gonna build a PC. And I worked in high school to be able to afford that, which is funny to think about. And then, half of my friend group went to Xbox, and then another half of my friend group went to PlayStation. It's just funny to think about that time because actually pretty much all of my friends now are on computer, which is funny. When Windows 10 came out, I downloaded that and I was able to talk to my friends that went to Xbox for a while, and then eventually, like probably 3 or 4 years ago now, they all came over. I think it was like 4 years ago now. They all came over to computer. At least the Xbox friend group. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. It's just so interesting to hear him talk about this because I don't really think I've ever heard him say it like this. Like he's basically, we all know that Xbox is looking, at least I think, I don't know. I definitely see the fact that Xbox is looking more at being an Xbox app than an Xbox console at this point. I think their goal overall is just to get to be such an important factor in gaming that other consoles will want their app on their console. I think that's why the Activision deal was so big for them, because that was a huge step in moving toward being an important place to be, and basically they would try to push getting their Game Pass app on PlayStation and getting it to work on there. And you know, I think that's just their end game goal, is just getting that application on pretty much every platform possible. And Xbox, I mean, they maybe will continue to make Xboxes. I don't know if there would be a day where they discontinue it, but it's definitely not their focus. And he talks about that a little bit in the video of, I think somebody asked, like, you know, is your focus still equal parts to like Xbox and everything? And like, you know, because that is where all of their customers, really their true customers, are. There's PC players that use the Xbox app, but they're not people that just stick alone to the Xbox app, you know what I mean? So Xbox players don't have any choice, they're on an Xbox. So those are their loyal customers, or whatever you want to call it. So it was an interesting question, but I see it honestly. I could definitely see a future if they can get the Xbox Game Pass app on enough platforms that they would make far less or even discontinue just making the Xbox. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up here. Let me know what you all think of everything that was said here. If you haven't watched the full interview, I definitely encourage it. You could skip to like 5.5 minutes in. That's where I started, because that's pretty much when the interview really starts. But it is like a long, I think it's like 40-ish minutes. So I mean, it is a good chunk of time of your day to be watching it. But I mean, I don't know, if you're making food, listen to it then, or whatever. It is interesting. I definitely encourage you to listen to the full thing if you haven't. And of what was heard here, I am very curious to see what your thoughts are down below for sure. I really am excited to hear from all of you. I was on the fence of even making this video because I never really wanted to get into news on video games. I just wanted to do more retrospectives and gameplay stuff, and maybe just discussions on new games coming out. But I love the interaction with all of you so much that I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna, give it a shot, try making a video on this, and see where it goes. So I definitely look forward to hearing from all of you. And if you enjoyed and want to stick around, get subbed and like the video. And I have, again, like I said in the beginning, my Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram all linked down below. So go give all those a follow so that we can stay in touch, talk more, and share more ideas. It'll be a lot of fun. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Later.